Another practical print for keeping my embroidery threads organized in my IKEA drawers. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with me, Stephen. And it is episode number 465, and it's August the 3rd, 2026. And I think I have a little frog in my throat. Always have it first thing in the morning. You know this. Wouldn't it be if I started one of these things and didn't say I had a frog in my throat? So, excuse me for clearing it right here, but I'm going to have some coffee. Otherwise, if I had something else to drink, it would be Monday morning whatever with Stephen. So I hope you're enjoying a cup of coffee and are ready for whatever I'm about to talk about today. So let's jump right into my recent projects. Now, these I've already shown you. I'm not going to dwell on them. I will talk in a little bit more detail tomorrow about each of these because there are some things I want to share with you about constructing these kind of things, especially ones like this wall hanging, this Halloween wall hanging, which is an In the Hoop project. I believe it was an OESD file that I purchased. I think I got it on sale. Of course I got it on sale because these things can be pricey. So when they have a sale, and they have sales on a regular basis, that's when you want to pick things up like this. But I thought this was kind of neat for Halloween. Do I have some place to put it? Nope. But we'll talk about all the ins and outs of doing these kind of things tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. So let's move on to the next thing I've been working on, which are these. These are going to be Christmas gifts eventually. And I'm thinking I'm going to put inside these portfolios some of my original patterns, ones that I have designed. But again, I'm going to talk about these particular ones. These are a little different from the ones I made last year because I had to source them from a different spot. And I learned from the ones I made last year on how to still make something that looks nice, but doesn't take you like weeks to make one, because these do take a long time. And of course, they are done on the embroidery machine. And this I talked about yesterday is not mine. It is Walter's. Walter took a class several years ago. In fact, I think it may have been just before COVID got started. And he missed the last class where they were going to assemble it. So he's had it in his collection for quite a few years. And now that he's doing free motion quilting, he thought this would be a good piece to practice on. So I put it together for him, slapped on a border, excuse me, and it's ready to go. So those are all the things that I've been working on. And today is a busy day because I got to get this recorded and up and out to you. And then I have a house to clean. Yes, it is. I usually do my thorough every room house cleaning at the beginning of the month. I clean as I go kind of a thing during the other weeks. But you know, you get this feeling inside of you, or at least I do, and it goes, okay, Piggy, it's time to clean up the dust bunnies. It's time to get out all those nooks and crannies shining. And today there's going to be death, because I know there's spiders. And this has been quite the summer for spiders. I don't know if it's because of the heat or whatever, but I think I kill at least one spider every other day, especially in the guest bathroom down here, or my bathroom as I like to call it, because I use it the most, and always in a corner. When you're in there and, you know, you're kind of vulnerable. Maybe this is too much information, but there you are sort of sitting in the bathroom, and that's when you spot them. And they're looking back at you. Now, they're house spiders. They're just little things. They're not that scary. They're mostly legs. And they do good because there are little bugs in our houses, especially if you have things under grow lights or lots of plants. There's these little gnats, and I just hate them. I have little devices set up to capture them, but the spiders are really good at it. They get into the spider's web and they're lunch. But regardless of that, I don't like occupying the same atmosphere as the spiders. So I'm afraid I do wipe them out, and they get a burial at sea, if you get my drift on that. So I will have to take my vacuum cleaner and get into some corners, especially down in here, and get them all sucked up if I find any, because they're good at hiding. They really are. And the ones that really get my goat are the centipedes. And occasionally you'll get this, well, they look like they're monsters. They're kind of fuzzy, not in a fuzzy good way, but fuzzy. There they are, and they're creepy. I mean, they won't hurt you, but who wants them in their house? I don't. And they have a tendency to like to hide on the ceiling. Yeah, and again, you're laying on the couch watching television, and you look up, and oh, there's this hairy thing hanging on the ceiling. So that's when you get out the fly swatter or the vacuum cleaner and get rid of them. And they turn to dust. When you squish them, it's not really squishing. You touch them with a Kleenex or something, a paper towel, and you grab it, they go to dust. So I don't know what that's all about, but I don't want them in my house. But as I said, I think it's because it's been so hot and humid. These little creatures must thrive on that kind of stuff. Well, they can thrive somewhere else. They're not thriving in my house. So yeah, I have to clean, and I hate doing it. It gives me anxiety before I do it. Like last night when I went to bed, I'm planning my day in my head, as one does. And sometimes it'll keep me awake. But once I get going, it's like I'm accomplishing something room by room. And, I have a routine for doing all this. So that is on the plan. Now, the one thing that wrinkles me up about this, or puts a wrinkle into it, is walking. I have not gone for a walk in 2 days. Why? Because for the last 2 days it's been raining. And I'm looking out the window right now, and it is dark. It's overcast. According to the rain forecast, it's supposed to rain for the next hour or so. It's supposed to be sunnier this afternoon. So what I think I'm going to do is change my schedule. After I finish this, I will do my cleaning, and then I will, after that's all done, it'll be around lunchtime probably. After lunch, I will go for my walk. I'll get it all in. And when I get busy and I get everything I want to get done in a day done, I feel really good that I have accomplished something. So, that's what I'm projecting my mind to, not to the fact that I've got to scrub a bathroom floor and toilets and all that kind of stuff, vacuum and dust. I hate dusting. But, it'll be worth it when it's done. And then I don't have to worry about it until September. Yeah, kind of thing. Anyways, yeah, that's my plans for the day. Are you happy you tuned in to hear about that? All right, let's talk about comments from last week. I don't have any comments that I want to highlight because there was one big comment last week that I did highlight yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live. And if you haven't seen Stephen and Walter Live from yesterday, you should check it out, especially in the last 15 minutes or so. That's when I talked about this very nasty, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, American, okay? Because this was a mega American, a Trump supporter, and you know how I feel about Trump supporters, and save it. I'll tell you right now, and I'm very serious about this. If you are a Trump supporter and you say anything in his favor on my channel, that comment will be removed as soon as I see it, and you will be blocked from this channel. And so best thing for you to do is say nothing and keep me in the dark about your politics, or just remove yourself. Yeah. And I don't make an apology for it. And in fact, this individual, she really didn't get the whole point. Because we went back and forth for a bit, and then I realized, wait. Why am I arguing about someone who says I shouldn't even be on YouTube because YouTube is American company and you're taking American money and all this? Oh, it was nuts. It was nuts. Like I said, talked about it in more detail on Stephen and Walter Live, and I called the person out too. But of course, everybody's got a nickname, so I have no idea who this person really is, and that's okay. I'm never going to see this person again because they have been deleted from my channel. But what I want to say is, and I've said it before, I read every comment, and I will make some kind of reply to let you know I've seen your comment. Many times it's just a little heart because there's nothing more I can say. Many of the comments are very supportive of the channel, add to the community here because you've got some additional information on something I was talking about that adds to our knowledge base, which is always good. Even constructive criticism is good. Those kind of things I love. Okay? But when you're just going to be nasty and you're going to tout your politics, and okay, somebody's going to say, yeah, but you talk about politics all the time. I do. Guess what? It's my channel. I can do whatever I want and I can say whatever I want. You're allowed to as well, but let's remember whose channel it is, who puts in the work to put this up for you all the time. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. This is my hobby. And that's the other thing. Some people who have been nasty think I'm doing this as a business. I'm making millions from the ads that YouTube throws down our throat. No, not. No. I make a little money. I pay American taxes on this channel. On anything I make, I pay 30%. To the American government. I'm Canadian. So wherever that money's going, probably nowhere except into Trump's pocket these days. But, but I do. And I average $160 to $180 a month. Wow. That's in Canadian. So that's about 2 cents American. Yeah. So I don't do it for the money. I'm retired. I have pensions. I have, I'm comfortable. I do it as a hobby. Yeah. And some of you are going to say, well, then if you don't do it for money, why are you monetized? Because then if you weren't monetized, there wouldn't be any ads. Nope, there would still be ads. Yep. YouTube put that in place many years ago. Didn't matter whether you were monetized or not. There's going to be ads. So, might as well get a little something for it, right? If it's going to be there anyways. But anyways, now I just went down on a rant. So, bringing it back up to comments again. I love your comments. Please write comments if you feel the need to write ones, but you know what my boundaries are for that kind of thing. And if we play by my rules, we'll all get along. Yeah, I know there'll be some of you that think I'm an egotist and all that. Well, maybe you're right. Whatever. Not twisting your arm to be here. Put it that way, okay? So let's get off that topic and let's get on with the Canadian news. Well, we have a strike going on right now. Now, I don't know if they have settled during the night or not. I haven't checked the latest headlines. But as of yesterday, all of the flight attendants, 4,000 and some odd of them, for the company WestJet, which is one of the two major airlines we have here in Canada. We don't have a lot of choice. They're both bad. Air Canada and WestJet, both bad. Yep. But if I have to choose one, and I usually do, it's Air Canada I go with. It's the lesser of two evils, and that's not saying much. But anyways, the flight attendants are on strike, and I know it's causing a lot of people grief. But I think a lot of people understand why the strike is happening, and that's because the corporation, WestJet, is being extremely, extremely unfair to its employees. I didn't know this until now. Well, I knew it when Air Canada flight attendants went out for the same reason a year ago, and they settled their contract. So WestJet will settle too, eventually. But the flight attendants, as far as pay is concerned, do not get paid for their work until the plane takes off, and they're paid for that time while the plane's in the air, and once the plane lands, they don't get paid anymore. However, they just don't get off the plane and go home. They're expected to do other duties as well, which are unpaid for, which involve, prepping the plane for the next flight, cleaning it up after a flight, that kind of stuff. Well, that's not right. That's not right at all. I mean, if you were working in any business, really, if you are working outside of the hours that you have been contracted for, well, you either get overtime for that or you're just an idiot because you're working for nothing. So, fully support them. It doesn't affect my life majorly right now. So, I can afford to fully support them as well. But there are some people who, like, they interviewed one lady. She's had her ticket for a while. She had a direct flight for a holiday to Costa Rica. That has been canceled. WestJet, the corporation, is doing very little to help her. This is their answer to any of these. They canceled 309 flights yesterday. And people have, it's not just the cost of the flight. WestJet has offered these people a credit whenever they start regular flights again. Well, that's not enough because these people have booked hotels, have booked, tours, everything along with that. And like this lady said, they said they might get her on a flight on Wednesday of this week. She was leaving on Sunday. But it wouldn't be a direct flight. She'd have to make about 3 different flight changes or something to get to Costa Rica. As she said, if she left on the Wednesday, she'd probably get there sometime late Wednesday or on Thursday, and then it's time to come home. Meanwhile, she's had a hotel and everything booked for 7 days, but she's only going to get maybe 3 days out of the trip, if that. So, yeah. WestJet, as far as your customers are concerned, just give them back their money. None of this credit business. But it got me thinking too about airlines in general around the world. Most of them suck. They do. The airports suck. The airplanes suck. The service, well, I shouldn't say the service necessarily sucks because flight attendants, that's a hard job. You're dealing with all kinds of lunatics on a plane. An aluminum tube at 30,000 feet, really. And then somebody wants to open a window, which is usually me when there's a kid screaming and hollering, just suck it out. But yeah, it's a hard job. But the company itself, they're there for one thing, money. Yeah, really. So good luck to the WestJet employees that are on strike, and yeah, fight the good fight. So what else? Oh, FIFA. Aren't we sick of FIFA? The games are over, but FIFA's still playing games. Yeah, they wanted to suddenly have some kind of private investments into FIFA. What was it? To sell off. They want to sell off World Cup profits to private equity firms. Yeah, they make a lot of money on FIFA. Nobody except the people who are involved with FIFA in the upper echelons make the money. It's a corrupt organization. Everybody knows that. And it's really nice to see there was pushback about this whole idea from major football/soccer organizations in Europe especially. Said, okay, you go that route, we are not going to be part of the World Cup anymore. Well, these organizations represent quite a few of the various teams that would be playing, so that would definitely cut into the bottom line. So FIFA has decided they're not going to do this plan. But that doesn't mean they're done. They've got plan B in the wings for sure. It's all about money, and I'm so sick of professional sports in general. The word professional in sports doesn't mean what you think it means. It means big bucks, someone's making lots of money, and it's not just the players. And I didn't think that's what sports were supposed to be all about. But apparently it is. But then everything's about money. So on national security issues and things, NATO arrested somebody, a foreigner in our country who's a spy. Little Chinese girl. She looks kind of sweet and innocent too, but apparently she's a spy. She faces several charges of spying for Beijing and criminal organization memberships. So I guess it is a thing that the Chinese are spying on us. But you want to know something? I don't think it's just the Chinese that are spying. I think every country in the world, including our own, we have something called CSIS. CSIS is our, basically our CIA, or CIA thing equivalent in the States. You can bet there's spies everywhere. Everybody's spying on everybody else. But, okay, they got one. Yay. Oh yeah, and then of course, the whole tariff thing, in less than 20 days or so, this 50% tariffs on a whole host of things, something like 2,800 items that we sell to the Americans from Canada are going to have this big tariff. Why? Because he's upset. And you know who he is. Because we're not putting American liquor on our shelves, and we're not letting in American dairy because we're trying to protect our own farmers, our own dairy farmers in there. And there's a couple of other things he's really pissed off with. So, it's the same old, same old. In fact, this has been going on for so long, back and forth, that now you hear Trump opens his mouth and threaten us with another tariff. We just look and go, yeah, whatever. And as I've said before, and what most people I think are starting to figure out, well, at least the smart ones, the tariffs are a tax, and it's a tax on goods and services that Americans buy, and they are paying those tariffs. It is not us in Canada that are paying it. Yes, it affects us, but not to the degree that it affects Americans. So when you go to your grocery store or wherever and you've noticed that, oh my God, I need to take out a second mortgage to buy a green pepper, you have Trump to thank for that. Keep that in mind, okay? The only person getting rich from all these tariffs and everything is Trump himself. And apparently, just as a side note, I saw on YouTube on MS Now that the Belgian diamond whatever they call it, exchange, or not exchange, but whoever regulates diamonds, made Trump and presented him with a special ring to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States. It is the gaudiest thing you've ever seen. They had a picture of it. It has like 321 diamonds in it. It has a bunch of emeralds and rubies and something else. It's gold, of course, and it's got his initial on the side of it, and it's got the number of his presidency, 45 and 47, for his 2 terms on it, and the whole bit. And right after they presented it to Trump, he decided he dropped the tariffs on raw diamonds coming into the United States from there. Yeah, you know what that's all about, right? And that's what the reporter was talking about too. So corruption, corruption, corruption. Thou's name is Trump. Okay. And some good news for Northern Ontario, especially in Canada in general. The federal government has decided it's going to put in a nickel mine up in the Timmins area, which is Northern Ontario. One of my subscribers, she and her husband, who are regulars on our live all the time, Dubravka and Al. Hi, Dubravka and Al. Shout out to them. Live there as well. And she said yesterday, when I mentioned this, that they live about 15 minutes away from where the mine is going to be. This is a biggie. It's, first of all, we have a lot of nickel in Canada, and nickel is a resource that is used in all kinds of different products. It's not just for making nickels. And it's going to employ a lot of people, and it's going to bring a lot of money into that area of Northern Ontario, not to mention in Canada in general. So, yeah, but this is part of our Prime Minister's plan. He is diversifying his portfolio around the world, our portfolio, so we aren't so reliant upon the United States for things. And not only that, we're selling more to other countries in the world as well. So basically closing out the Americans one business at a time. And he's looking after Canada. He's investing in our infrastructure, in our resources and resource development as well, which is all good for our country. And it's about time. It should have been done years ago by previous prime ministers, but they're too busy always fighting amongst themselves, and they're only as good as their next election. So, that kind of thing. And you want an example of that? Look at the leader of the Conservative Party, Polyev. I think his new approval rating is down about 18%, whereas Carney's has gone up to, I think it's up in the 60s. percent of approval. So that's pretty damn good for a politician and pretty bad for the opposition when it comes to those numbers. So good, looks good on Polyev. He really needs to get out of politics and do what he would be so much more suited for, flipping burgers at McDonald's. Yeah, I don't think he's ever had a real job. He's been a professional politician since the day he came out of the you know what. Um, Now we do have some problems in Canada, and it seems now, remember, all this comes from the media, and if it bleeds, it leads. So you always have to take some of this with a grain of salt to a point. So it's not time to panic. But Canada, we're very proud of our mixture, our inclusivity. Our mixture of different nationalities, and we all get along. Well, do we get along? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. A good example is Winnipeg had a incident at a mosque. Local authorities and police are actively investigating a shooting at a Winnipeg mosque as a potential hate crime, which is sad. Okay? Yes, right now, the Islamic State or whatever people associated with it are, by some groups in our country, are seen as an enemy. However, let us remember this is Canada. This is not the Middle East. These people came here. They have become Canadian, or most part have become Canadian citizens, or have adapted as well as they can to the Canadian way of life. Um, you know, yeah, we have freedom of religion. So if they wish to pray in their way, they can. But to go in and threaten their lives, that is something totally different. And how is that going to change things in the Middle East? How's that going to stop the war in Iran? It's not. All it does is create war within our own society. So stop it. Yeah. But we do have things like this, and over the last few years, um, there's been more of those types of incidents. And, it's mainly what we see a lot of now is like the Palestinians, the Israelis, and Islamic people, all of them. This is where people are lashing out. Not saying it's those particular groups that are doing the lashing, it's other ones against them. Why? How does that change anything? How does that make anything better? Bang your head on the wall. Really. But people are stupid. Yeah. And in Edmonton, well, we've been bitching about the heat across our country and the forest fires, and now in Edmonton they're having flooding. Yeah. They showed pictures of these flash floods and stuff. It's bad. It's bad. Nature's just really taking it out on us. I think it's time to really smarten up. Global warming is a thing. Okay? Don't put your head in the sand. Well, in the case of this, put your head into the water. Because it's real, and we really got to get off the pot. We're destroying the planet. And the planet is fighting back. So, yeah, think about that. Because it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. And some of you that are of the same age as me will exactly know where that comment comes from. Okay, so here at home, what's been going on? Well, I was a guest on Sean of The Guy Who Sews Saturday Morning Live. He has a live every morning where he invites a guest, and he and the guests sew and talk. And I did that. I've been on Sean's before. Sean's a good friend, and I enjoy being on his live. I think he likes me on the live too because he gets more sewing done because I don't shut up. And I see you out there going, yeah. So what's surprising about that? Right. But anyways, it's always good to be on there, and we talked about a variety of things. And yeah, I loved it. So if you didn't see it and you're interested, Sean has it up on his channel. You can check it out. And this week we've got a road trip, a little private shop hop. We are going off to Western Ontario to an area about an hour and a half to 2 hours just west of us, Cambridge area, uh, Mennonite country down in there and everything. And it has lots of quilt stores all over the place. So we're going shopping. Now, I don't need any fabric, but as I always say, it's not a need, it's a want. Um, but what I especially want to look for is Christmas fabric. I have a 2-year plan. My 2-year plan is to get enough fabric that will last me for 2 years. Because I'm sick and tired of this going to my local quilt stores and there's no Christmas fabric out yet. Yeah, too late. I've already started, as you know, on my Christmas projects. I need Christmas fabric now. So we're off to Western Ontario, but you're going to say, those of you that remember anything that we talk about on here, didn't you say you were going the opposite direction? Weren't you going out east to Kingston area? Yes, we were. And we canceled that. Well, Walter got the idea. And yeah, I was sort of thinking about it too, but Walter usually puts what I'm thinking into words. And he said, instead of going to Kingston, he says, I got thinking. When I hear the phrase, I got thinking, I know, okay, new plan. Here we go. Don't argue. It's the way it's going to be. And it works out for me fine anyway, so there doesn't have to be an argument. So yeah, he said, rather than Kingston, why don't we go to Cambridge area and go shop hopping? And I said, yeah, that's probably a better idea because Kingston has like about one quilt store right in Kingston. There's a couple on the way, a couple in Belleville, which is a little town like before you get to Kingston. But really, there isn't the number that there are in the Cambridge area. Part of the reason for that is that's Mennonite country out there. And what are Mennonites famous for? Quilts, as well as other things. And there's a lot of cute little towns in around that area that have like maybe 1 or 2 quilt shops, depending. And yeah, I said, that's a good idea. Because he's afraid, yeah, we'll get to Kingston. We were going to spend 2 nights there. We'll get there. We'll go to a quilt shop. Then what are we going to do? I mean, Kingston's lovely in the summer, as long as it's not raining. There are restaurants and things like that. The downtown core of Kingston's really not all that exciting. Now, I haven't been there in a couple of years, so maybe it's gotten better, but I doubt it. Really, unless there's some kind of festival going on or that kind of thing, yeah. I mean, it's a historical place. You can take tours, walking tours. I lived in Kingston for a year when I did my teacher's degree. I went to Queen's University for that. So I lived there, and it was nice then, but that was like almost 50 years ago. Yeah. And things have changed, but yeah. So we're not going to Kingston. We're going west, young men. And so that means that as far as Chatty is concerned on Friday, because we're going Thursday and Friday, coming back Saturday morning, there may or may not be a Chatty. I am debating. I will be taking video, if I remember to, of where we go for the quilt shops and stuff like that, and of the general trip and everything. And I may either put it all together late Friday afternoon as a special video for Chatty and put it up because I will have the technology to do that with me. Or what I'll do is we might even go live, do Chatty live. I don't know. And I'm not going to know until we know. So then you'll know. So if you do not see us Chatty this coming Friday, it's because we didn't do one. It's not because we're dead. Okay, just so you know. Okay, so what else is coming up? All right, so those are our plans at home. New products. Well, I'm wearing one of my new products. You probably didn't notice. My new glasses. I look crooked. Put my head this way. Must be just the way things are sitting in here. Anyways, yeah. There they are. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, my new glasses. Now, you're going to say, but they look so much like your old glasses. Yes, they do. They're not exactly the same. The shape is slightly different. than the old ones. The old ones, I have them right here. They give you this nice little box to keep your glasses in, which I never use because my glasses are usually on my face. But here are the old glasses. So you can see the difference in shape. You can also see these are called crystal. They're not, they're plastic, but I mean, they call them crystal. That's the line. And I've loved these glasses. These glasses are really nice, but I've had them for 5 years and they are really faded and worn on the arm pieces and the whole bit. It's like the plastic is starting to deteriorate, probably from cleaning and stuff like that. And, you know, I wear them all the time. So they're slightly different shape. And the new ones just glisten, right? Look like crystal because they're brand new. So, yeah, I picked those up on Friday. I went in on Monday because to where I get my glasses, the Optical Boutique. Shout out for them. And to Carl, I've been going to them for years. They always look after me well, and they always have some really great glass frame designs. And they especially are proud of this, that they get cutting edge frames. Now you pay for them. They're not cheap, but you can get some very unique styles. Well, when I went in and saw Maggie, one of the people that works there, told her, yep, I want new glasses. Frames. She went, ooh, let me try these on you. And she threw on these most hideous things I'd ever seen. Now, they're very trendy and they're very modern and all of that, but they were dark. They were kind of a combination of brown and black, and they were sort of round, and they were huge. They were huge. You put them on and you looked like the stereotype of a librarian that dresses badly. They were really bad. Have you ever seen the movie Monsters, Inc. and Roz, the one that's the receptionist and her glasses? Yeah, I look like Roz. So I said, oh God, no, get those off my face. She came out with another pair, a different one. But again, it seems these chunky frames are all in fashion right now. Well, I don't like them. I have a fat enough face as it is. I don't need to accentuate that with my glasses. And she says, I know you like the crystal ones. And I says, I do. And she pulled these ones out, put them on within 2 seconds, said, yep, I'll take them. And so I have them. She said, and I'll probably take about a week, you know, because I had new lenses and everything put in them. I said, that's fine. No problem. And no, on Friday morning, I mean, this was Monday when I went in to see them, the Friday of the same week, this last Friday, she called me up and said, your glasses are in. And I went, okay, great. So down I went. She put them on me. We got it all adjusted, paid for them. $1,400. Yeah. Actually, the frames are cheap. They were only about $475 for the frames. It's $700 or $950 for my lenses because they're transitionals, you know, all that kind of stuff, and supposedly anti-glare. Although I notice right now I'm getting a little light on here. Sorry, Russ. Russ pointed that out to me on one of my videos, that there was a bit. He did that because people have pointed out that there's a glare on his glasses. And one of those people was probably me. So he was just getting me back. Friendly rivalry. Yeah. Not heated, friendly. Yeah. So I've had to have them adjusted. Maggie adjusted them as they do, you know, put them on, make sure they fit right. And I found that they were rubbing on one ear. And so I went in on Saturday and Carl was there and he adjusted them again. And they're better. But I think I'm going to need one more slight adjustment to it. But I think I'll wait until next week. I'll let them settle a little bit. You know, you have to get used to new glasses. So anyways, yep. I'm happy about having these new frames and everything. Okay, so that's the only thing new, really, that I have purchased. And that's probably enough. Next week, you'll get to see all what I buy when we're on our road trip. Okay, so last week's videos, highlights from that. Well, last Monday morning, this Monday Morning Coffee with Stephen was live. I love doing the lives. I love playing off of what you guys say in the chat and that kind of thing. The next live will be whatever the last Monday is of August, because it's the last Monday of every month that I do Monday Morning Coffee as a live. On Tuesday was the idiot quilter, and yes, in the title I said I'm still talking about Christmas, and I was, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about Christmas for a while, probably, because I'm in that mode right now, getting things ready for Christmas. So, Chatty, we went through our drawers, both Walter and I, and we pulled up stuff that we had forgotten we had bought at one point in time. And, they seemed like a good idea then. And we're looking at it now and going, one, why the hell did we spend money on that? And two, what the hell do you do with it? So we came up with a few interesting things. Now, not all the things are completely useless. Some of them are things that I just never use. You know, how you think you're going to use something, you purchase it, and then you don't. Well, so we went through all of those in both our piles. And I'm sure many of you had some of these things yourself as well. And on the live, we did smart devices and the elderly, and we had a conversation with my smart device. I'm not going to say his name because he will talk to me, and I don't want him to talk to me right now. I definitely have to get these adjusted. I'm feeling crooked, but whatever. Maybe it's my head. Maybe it's might be the chair, because the chair does have a bit of a lean to it. Anyways, let's ignore that. So yeah, we talked about, how AI is a good thing. Lately, there's been a lot of bad press about AI, and yes, rightly so. It is scary technology. It really is. I think it's the scariest piece of technology we've ever had in my lifetime. And so, the jury is still out about whether or not AI's benefits will outweigh its disadvantages. But anyways, when it comes to nursing homes and to, keeping people independent and healthy as we grow older, and that's probably most of us that, most of my clientele here, because you're of my generation or a little bit older, we asked it how it can help, and it told us. And it's kind of fun having a conversation with the AI. At least I find it is. So I'm really seriously thinking of doing maybe one live 1 week, Stephen and Walter live, where we will use Echo. Oops, I said its name. Oh, it didn't react. Oh no, too late. It's going to react. We're going to have a conversation with it, but we're going to call it is Q&A with Echo, where you guys can write in the chat your questions. I'll direct them to Echo, and we'll see what it comes up with. He hasn't answered me since I said its name. Maybe it's dead. Echo, are you dead?
Nope, still kicking around in the digital realm. Death's not really in my programming, more like eternal tech support. What can I help you with?
Nothing, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
It always has to have the last word. Yeah. Okay, so that was everything that we looked at did last week. So coming events. Well, of course, we have Sewing with Stephen on Wednesdays, as always. We've been light, as you know. I've harped on this maybe too much, but I know it's nice. If it's nice weather, nobody wants to be stuck indoors. They want to be out and about. So yeah, but anyways, it's there for you if you decide that you don't want to be out and about. So links in the show notes. Already talked about our plans for later this week for our little private shop hop. And pop-up sew day. Haven't had one in a while. Not since my birthday bash pop-up sew day. Probably going to be on Saturday, August the 22nd. That's not written in stone yet. So it's just advance notice. You can pencil it into your calendar if you're interested. More details and the links and everything will come out the week before then. So yeah, that's when I'll finalize it. So just in the back of your head, August 22nd, Saturday, August 22nd, maybe a pop-up sew day. Okay, so speaking of weather, I'm kind of happy right now, and this sounds bad, that it is sort of raining and blustery out as I look out my window, because that doesn't make me feel as guilty about not going out for my walk right after this. And so, as I said before, my plan is to go for my walk probably this afternoon because it's supposed to clear up by then. But that's what it's like right now. That doesn't look nice. Not going to go out. If I get wet, I melt. So there we are. And yeah, and there's a bit of a breeze too, as you can see. It's 17 degrees C right now, according to the weather thing that I'm looking at. And it's supposed to be a high of 25. So, relatively comfortable, especially if there's a breeze. I'm sure with a little bit of rain, that cools things down a bit. Not complaining, our plants on the deck need the water. But it does look like this afternoon is all sunny and dry. So the rain is supposed to stop within the next hour. And then we get into, it's still going to be a little bit on the windy side. And then sunny, 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 sunny. So that's good. And the forecast, long range forecast, open this back up. Tuesday sunny, Wednesday, Sunday, Thursday's wet, Friday's wet, Saturday's sunny. Sunday is possibility 40%. Shit, but it's going to be warm. Yeah, why did I say oh shit about Sunday? Because we're having company on Sunday. A subscriber and friend here that lives in Ottawa, she and her husband are going to drop in on their way from back home. They live in Ottawa, but they're up in our area, about a little bit north of us, for a concert that they went to at the casino that's north of us. So they're coming down, and after they check out their hotel room, and we're going to have brunch here. And I was really hoping that I can do the brunch al fresco, out on the deck and everything, in amongst all of our lovely garden plants, because they're looking beautiful right now. I have a few pictures to show you. So yeah, so that's on Sunday. So as I said, this is going to be a busy few days. Getting my house in order, sow day on Wednesday, leaving on Thursday morning, bright and early, to do our shop hop for 2 days, getting back early, hopefully on Saturday, to finish up getting things prepared for Sunday. And then Sunday, will this affect Stephen and Walter live on Sunday if you're having guests? I don't think it will, because I think they're on their way home, and Ottawa is about 4 hours away from us to the east. So I don't imagine they want to be sitting around here all day long, and leaving really late. Plus, I think Lydia will probably have to go to work on Monday. Maybe she has the day off. I don't know. But whatever. So, yeah, but it's going to be nice to see them. Always have a good time with them. Okay, so that's all the plans, all the things coming up in my life. What about those plants, though? Let's take a look, shall we? Because I am having a pepper explosion. Because this is the time of year where everything starts to come up and out at the same time. So we're going to start here with my cucumbers. Yes, we have a cucumber. Actually, we have more than one cucumber. This is the biggest one at the moment. And it's probably, I took this picture on Saturday. It's probably even bigger now, especially with all the water, because cucumbers love water, we have found. They just soak it right up. So yeah, and I did want to try and make pickles, but there's ones called icicle pickles or something, where you basically take maybe a little smaller cucumbers, but not like pickling cucumbers, the small ones that make like gherkins or whatever, that kind of thing. But I guess you slice them up in wedges and you pack them in your jars and with the brine and everything. So yeah, I got to get on with that. And peppers. Oh yes. We have these in various sizes, but they're growing like weeds, as you can see. These ones are coming along quite nicely. So what I will do, if I leave them on the vine as long as I can, if you leave a green pepper long enough on a vine, oftentimes it will turn into an orange, yellow, or red pepper too. So yeah, but the really ones that are maybe medium sized, when I need them, I will pick them, put them in the salad, whatever. I'm trying to get Walter talked into making some stuffed peppers, because I love stuffed peppers. And here, well, my finger's in the way of this one, but you see, here's what I mean. That one, it's time to get off the vine, because when you start seeing this kind of stuff happening on the outside of it, you want to take it off. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but those little blemishes and things, time to get them off. So yeah, this is actually, see how thick the stalk is? This is the one I call the pepper tree. This is one we were growing indoors, and Walter brought it outdoors. And when he put it out here, it just blossomed. It went like crazy. I mean, it does well under the grow lights, but I guess nothing like being out in nature really stimulates your peppers that well. So yeah. So yeah, pepper explosion, and I will do some pickling, and I make a blend of the jalapenos as you see here, and we have other red chili peppers and that kind of thing, all coming along great. I will take those, slice them up. I blanch them, I slice them up, and with the red peppers and green peppers and that kind of thing, and can them, pickle them, and put them in jars and everything, and do the proper sealing techniques and everything like that. And then I put them in the fridge, and they last forever, and they're great on a salad, or they're great on a sandwich, or great just by themselves, that kind of thing. So I'm going to make a few more of those. And there's some more of the jalapenos. Now these ones are inside. These are what's left of what's under the grow lights right now inside. These were an experiment to see how they would do, and they're doing okay. We also are able to grow beans. I don't have a picture of that. That tomato plant behind it looks a little sad. We're not sure if it's gone into sort of a dormancy or something's wrong with it. But we can grow those under lights without any problem too in the winter. So at least we have some fresh things in the winter, and we'll grow more lettuce. We're not growing lettuce right now. We found that the lettuce likes it when it's a little cooler outside, and then it all comes on at once, and you've got more lettuce than you can ever use or give away. So we decided that the best thing for us to do is in the summer, we buy the lettuce, you know, and we look around for bargains on that, because you have to these days when it comes to produce. And in the wintertime, we'll grow it indoors, and we'll always have lettuce, throughout the winter, because does do well. At least the variety we grow does well under the grow lights. And yeah, that's all with the food. Okay, some more coffee. So it looks beautiful out on the deck, and I thought I had taken a picture of it, and I probably forgot to transfer it up here. I think I did a video when we were sitting out there the other night. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Now, I have to remember for the season's up to take a little video and show you how nice it looks. Maybe I'll do that on Sunday when Lydia and Scott are here. We shall see. Okay, so that takes me to what I'm doing on the 3D printer. And I already told you I'm in Christmas mode. So I'm making this. It is a magnetic pin holder. There is a magnet embedded in the bottom of that. This particular print pauses. It's created a well for a magnet. So you put in a certain size magnet, drop it in there, resume the printing, and it covers it with the plastic, with the filament. And it works. I can turn those upside down, and those pins will not fall out unless I shake it violently. I got hiccups now. So that's one of the things that's going to go into my little Christmas basket for the ladies at Ultimate Sewing at Christmas. Now, this monstrosity, this is my new embroidery thread tower. It holds 13 spools of thread. It's all 3D printed, and this, I've just started using it to see how it works out, and it seems to be working pretty good. And why would I want such a thing? Well, my embroidery machine only handles 5 spools of thread at a time. So, a lot of projects like that one I showed you, the Halloween wall hanging, there are a lot of different colors in that, more than 5. So you're constantly taking a spool off, putting a spool on. This way, I can line up, well, with the one that's on the sewing machine. I now have 17 spools of thread all ready to go at one time. So that's why I created this. It also neatens up my area next to my embroidery machine where I had, you can see one right here. This little one has a big spool of black and a big spool of white thread on it. But I had several of these all lined up over here, and it was getting messy looking, so this neatens everything up. So I'm very happy with it so far, and I will see if I'm still happy with it after a few more projects, but I think I will be. So I was making that as well. And speaking of embroidery thread storage, I have an IKEA cabinet. It's an Alex set of Alex drawers, and it holds all my embroidery threads. And I have probably about 500-600 spools or more of embroidery thread. Now, right now, the drawers are in a mess. I made years ago, when I first got into machine embroidery, I made these little inserts that had holes cut out on them that laid on the drawer bottom and sort of kept things where they're supposed to be, but it still wasn't that efficient. And so I've decided to make these racks, and you can see one in the back. Each drawer is going to have 2 large racks and 2 of the smaller racks, which are basically cut down so they'll fit in the drawer. And one of the large racks will hold 16 spools of thread. So right now you can see there are 32 spools of thread, and I have room once I get the next rack made in this one drawer, and that one will hold 2, 3, 4, 8. So that's another 16. So 48 spools of thread I can put in one drawer. So this should cover my complete collection pretty well in there. It's going to take some time to make these things for this, but then I can, once I have them there, I can rearrange all of my colors so that, I have them colored in groups by color. I was originally grouping them by their product number, but no, that's not so good. Because usually when I'm picking colors, I want a shade of, say, red or blue. And if they're all together in a group, I can very quickly pick out what shade is most appropriate. So that's the project I'm working on right now as well. And do I have any others? No, I don't. So busy creating all the time. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about it. I have nothing else to share with you right now. So that means it's time to compile this, get it up for you onto YouTube, and start the next round of activity today, which of course is house cleaning. So wish me luck on that. Yeah, and hopefully I won't run into any killer spiders or centipedes, because I'll be just like a little schoolgirl. I'll be running around the house screaming, bug, 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 Walter, kill it. Whatever. Yeah, not that bad, but yeah. Okay, I'm rambling. It's time to say goodbye. Have a great week. We'll see you later. Bye for now. Hi, I'm just going to interrupt my program for just 1 second to remind you to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for future notifications. That's all I ask of you. Show me a little love. Thanks.